Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is CrystalAnn, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make these really fun door wood rounds using your laser. Recently, I went down to Texas to go visit a dear friend of mine. Her name is Stacy. You guys probably know her as Diva Watts Designs. If you guys have been following me for quite some time, I've actually been using her designs forever. She has designs through Cricut, Silhouette, Glowforge, you name it. She's all over the place. So you guys have to check it out. But one of the things she's super famous for is her wood signs like this. The detail is gorgeous. Now I wanted to show you guys, this is an actual sign that she made. She let me have it and bring it home. So thank you, Stacy. I love it. It's been hanging on my door. So for this one, I do believe this is the 18-inch wood round. So you guys can see today I'm working with a 14-inch wood round. You guys can see the difference. I'm going to talk about that through the video where you could get these and all of that. But you guys can see it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, and I just had to share this one with you. But for today's video, we are going to be making this one right here. We're getting ready for spring, and I just thought this was such a cute design. She actually had one. I'm going to pop it up right here. This is where I'm getting my inspiration from. I chose the chicken one and brought it home, and I thought I'll come back and I'll make this one right here. So we are going to go through this entire process today, and I'm going to show you how to make it. Let's go over the supplies that we're going to be using in today's video. We're going to be using a wood round. You could purchase these from Hobby Lobby. I did get a few in a pack here. Usually these are 50% off, so it was around $6, but you could definitely get these on Amazon. I'll have those ones linked down below, or you can even get them from Etsy. I was talking with Stacy, the designer, and she purchases all of hers from Etsy. If you have something like a Thunder, you could definitely cut these on your own, depending on how big of a laser that you have. I've got some greenery here that I'm going to be using for the top ribbon here, so that way we can make our bow. I've got some zip ties for that. I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make a bow super duper easy today if you haven't seen my previous videos using zip ties. Today I'm going to be using some acrylic paint. I think the only one I'm really going to be using is the green, black, a little bit of white. I did get this gel stain that I want to try from Hobby Lobby as well. It was 69 cents. We're going to try that to stain the back of this, but feel free to use whatever stain you have. And then of course we are going to be using some MDF. I have some that is pre-painted that I actually purchased this way, and then I also have some that Stacy painted. So she actually likes to pre-paint her wood. That was another thing that she gave me a tip on. She pre-paints these in sheets. So she has white ones, pink ones, black ones, and she gave me a couple because there's another trick that I'm going to show you guys about these here in just a second. But you could definitely just take regular MDF, which we're going to take one of these and I'm going to paint it with that green. I will show you guys where I get mine from. I'll link you guys down below on that. Funny story, whenever it comes to masking these, I normally mask mine. That way it prevents the burn marks and all of those things. And so I started to panic before I made this video because when I went to go look for my big roll of masking tape, I couldn't find it. And it is at my mom's in her garage with some of my other craft stuff. So I reached out to Stacy and I said, hey, what do you do? Do you just paint these like once, do you ever just not use masking tape? And she said, I never mask anything. She said, I pre-paint them and then I just use a baby wipe or even a microfiber cloth, she said, with water to wipe them off. Before we get started cutting this out, I wanted to show you guys Stacy's other hack is she uses 3M. She purchases it by the roll and she covers the backside of these. So not only is she painting them first, she covers them with that 3M adhesive. So then once it's cut out, all you have to simply do is stick it on your wood. Let's get ready to fire up our Glowforge. Today I'm using the Glowforge Pro and I am using a filter system so that way I can utilize it here in my studio. So we're gonna go ahead and turn this on. It may be a little bit louder in here, so bear with me on that. Now that we have our laser machine fired up, the very first thing I want to do is go ahead and get some material into the machine because as you can see over here on glowforge.com, you can't see anything. My design is there, but you can't really see the red lines. It is so hard to work like this. So what I'm going to do is get a material in there so we can actually see what's happening. What I want to do is size down my circle. So what I've done is I've just unselected everything except for the circle, so you can see a little bit of my bunny hanging out over here. So if you were going to cut out your own circle, you would keep this piece and you would just have this as your score mark, so that way you could see where to line it up. But you do have the circle there not only to size it if you wanted to delete it, or you could actually cut out your own circle depending on what size and once again what machine you're actually using. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and size this down. So right now this is at 17 inches and I want mine at 14 inches. It's actually like 14.02, but I'm just gonna do 14 inches. I went ahead and resized it to the 14.02 just to be safe. So you wanna select all of your pieces so that way your bunny's not gonna be too big or any of the other pieces. That way everything sizes down at the same time. So now you guys can see I've got this sized down, and if I line this up here, it's starting to line up pretty perfectly. You just want to make sure that nothing is going to go over. So you may want to come down just a teensy tiny bit more, and I'm just going to double check everything, and that looks perfect. I now have everything that I'm cutting out on my whiteboard. So what I'm going to do is change these pieces from a cut file, and then some of them are going to be a score line just so I know where to set these pieces at. When you double click, it's going to bring these individual pieces as you can see here. So you want to double click on those. That way you can break those up. So for example, the whole head, once again, I want to cut out. So I'm going to select that, and we've already got that on a cut file. So if I double click in here and select the face, for example, it's going to pop up to these pieces here, and I'm going to let it know that I want to do a score line. Now let's go ahead and select the material we are using today. For MDF, you can't just type that in for Glowforge because it's not one of their pieces, but I usually just try to find something pretty familiar. So the one that I used last time was medium basswood, and that's what we're gonna use today. If it doesn't cut, you can always go a second round. Just play around. I usually take a test piece, so that's what I've kind of done here. This is what I've done for a previous project, but I had already cut out a bunny here and did a test run, but you could do a small little circle or something like that just to make sure it's actually going to work. Everything that's going to cut is in red. Everything that's going to score is in blue, as you can see here. So we're officially ready to cut this thing out. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose print and hit the button on the Glowforge. I'm going to set this aside and we will pull all of these pieces out in just a second. But for now, I'm going to sit back, let this finish drying, and then I'm going to put it in the machine and cut it out. As you guys can see, once again, we have the red for the cut. The blue is just simply going to score it, so that way we know where to line up our pieces. Now that I have all of my pieces cut out, I'm gonna go ahead and stain my wood round. You could have already done this at the very beginning, days before, all of the things, but I'm gonna go ahead and stain mine now. I've got a piece of parchment paper down here to protect my surface. The one thing about this is we don't have to stain or paint whatever you're doing this piece right here. Wherever this is going, we can avoid that. So you can kind of get that on there, and you can find your way to put a little mark, whether it's with a pencil or whatever it may be, because there's no reason to stain under there or paint. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this stained. Let's go ahead and scoot this out of the way and remove all of these pieces. I'm gonna stop for a second. I wanna wipe this down with a baby wipe. I started thinking, I wonder if I should have wiped this with a baby wipe while it was all here or individual pieces. I'm gonna try both ways. So let's go ahead and see how this works. Oh my gosh, it actually works really, really well. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and wipe this one off and then keep going. And luckily, as you guys know, I have a grandbaby in the house, plenty of wipes. I'm not gonna lie, that hack was amazing. So I could probably go over this again, but I'm kind of lazy, so I'm just gonna leave it like this. But what's gonna be really cool is we're gonna be able to pull off this 3M and we're gonna be able to just pop this straight down. The only piece that I'm actually gonna have to glue down is going to be this green piece. So I'm gonna go ahead and get a little bit of glue on the back here, get this down so we can start lining everything up. I'm just gonna go directly on the board here with the glue since I know where that area is, and then I'll do an outline on this piece. Now I will tell you guys, yes, I'm using Mod Podge. If you guys know, apparently I say Mod Podge wrong. Comment down below how you say it. It is one of my videos that has got me almost 5 million views by saying that wrong. And so you guys comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. I also want to hear your thoughts on the 3M adhesive. Have you guys ever heard of that before? As well as using a baby wipe or water to wash off instead of using masking tape. Now that we have that down, let's pull off our first piece of adhesive and get this down. To add a little bit of dimension to our bunny, we are just going to add in a little bit of white. I'm gonna line up my 2 pieces of ribbon here, and then I'm going to start to make my loops. So just depending on how big you want your loops to be, and I've got my little piece that's gonna stick out here. So also depending on if I'm wanting a tail or not to be out there, you're gonna wanna pay attention to that. So I am just actually going to have mine inside. So I want my loops to be about that big, I would say. I'm going to twist. So you wanna twist so that way you can keep all of the pretty on top. My last loop is right here and cut it off right about there. Now I'm gonna go ahead and take my little handy dandy zip tie here. So basically now you're gonna do is just kind of twist and turn and getting it fluffed out how you want it. And then I will have these maybe right in here like so. And then I'm gonna have that glued down right there. To get these to stay where I want them to be, for example, in between the middle of these ribbons, I'm just adding a dot of glue just to get those to stay where I want them. Last things, let's go ahead and add a loop here on the top so we can hang it on the door. Once again, I would normally staple that on the back. I have done that. I'm gonna hot glue mine because I don't know where the stapler is at the moment, but we're gonna add these little felt pads on the back. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and add one down here at the bottom, one over here, and on the center. For my loop, I'm just gonna take a little piece like this. I'm going to trim that off and simply just hot glue that down. As you guys can see here, it came out so cute. I love it. Once again, you guys comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. What is something that maybe you would do differently? She has so many of these to choose from. Doesn't matter what holiday, sports, if your kid is in football, softball, all of the things. She has so many different designs. So once again, I highly recommend you check it out. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you guys hit the thumbs up down below. Make sure you comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.